The South Dakota Symphony Orchestra has received a grant focusing on equity, diversity, and inclusion. They're one of 28 orchestra groups in the country learning and working to transform their organizational culture. The South Dakota Symphony Orchestra applied for the grant earlier this year. Jennifer Teisinger is the executive director. She says the organization takes this work seriously.
And we have actually done quite a bit in this area through programming and concerts, and knew that we needed to take the next step of addressing structural racism and implicit bias that is inherent within many cultural institutions, and especially a symphony orchestra.
Consultants work with musicians, staff, and the board of directors on diversity, equity, and inclusion training. Grant recipients also meet virtually to discuss this work as a cohort. Teisinger says orchestras are an institution imported to America from Europe.
If you look back at the very first orchestras, that were performing in America, they were white musicians performing music composed by white Europeans. So the orchestra in and of itself has really developed from being a primarily white art form that came from a place of privilege.
Teisinger highlights several steps that can be taken to create a more representative and inclusive environment.
And that includes all kinds of things: diversifying the board, performing more music of people of color, learning ourselves what structural and systemic racism is, and what implicit biases we all carry as individuals.
The grant work starts at the end of the week. For South Dakota Public Broadcasting, I'm China Lockett in Rapid City.